Every summer, around this time, I have some version of the same conversation. Someone tells me that the next 6 weeks are going to be a write-off. The kids are off school, you've got a holiday booked, there's a wedding in the diary, and there's already 3 barbecues that you've got planned. So they've already decided that September is going to be when they start things over again. The mistake people make is thinking that summer is something that they have to survive. Get through the 6 weeks, keep damage to a minimum, and then pick things back up when the kids go back to school and the diary calms down a little bit. They go two of either way. They go really, really rigid and try and maintain the exact same structure that they've done through May and April when things were a little bit quieter, admittedly, and then that falls apart after the second week of summer holidays, if not the first. Or they go the exact opposite way and just sack everything off because they know that they can't be perfect for the next 6 weeks. So what's the point of doing it at all or even trying? If you're new here, my name's Marcus and I've coached over 200 people into the shape of their life through this exact same thing. And I have this conversation every single summer with people more times than I can count. So what I've done is in the top link of the description, I've put a video that maps out exactly how I would do this with a client. So if you're interested, go and click that and then come back to this video. You see, if we're being real, neither of those are the answer. Summer's not going to be perfect, so it's not the time for a rigid structure. But it also isn't time to completely write everything off at the same time. You see, it's a different phase, so it's going to require a completely different structure to any other time of the year. Because it is a little bit busier, if we're being honest. And like I say, you've got the kids for 6 weeks. But there are still people that are in the exact same position as you that come out the other side, moving into September with momentum. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what I would focus on to make sure you're one of those people this year. And those people, before I get into it, are the ones who decide what they're going to focus on now, before they get into summer, before everything takes control of them. They know that they're not going to be able to focus on everything like they were doing 6 weeks ago, but they pick a couple of certain things that allow them to keep moving forwards and go into September feeling good and ready to crack on. So there's 3 things over summer that I want you to focus on instead of just trying not to gain fat, because having a coach over summer shouldn't take away from the fact that you can still enjoy summer, but it also shouldn't mean that you have to lose all of the shape that you got. So let's go through these 3 things. First is training. Look, if we're being completely honest, you're not going to be able to hit the same amount of volume of training that you probably are in other times of the year where things are a little bit quieter. However, this doesn't mean that just because we have to drop a couple of sessions a week, that the 6 weeks have to turn into 6 weeks of no training at all. If that means you usually do 4 sessions and now you can only do 2, that's absolutely fine. Do that. And if that also means that the sessions have to be a little bit shorter, that's also fine as well. We need to understand that progress looks different over these next few weeks. Whatever that looks like to you, map it out. And I would have a strategy going into the gym, whether that is that you're going to have shorter rest breaks and you're going to need to superset a few exercises. So the session that usually takes an hour and 15 takes 45, so that you're not out of the house for too long and the partner doesn't get annoyed at you, then so be it. But we need to be able to keep that habit of going to the gym alive so that when September does roll around, it doesn't feel like you're starting from scratch again and it feels like you're just cracking on but increasing the volume just as you would any sort of other time of the year when you're progressively overloading something. The second thing that I want you to be focusing on over summer is to stop making fat loss the only goal. Stop making the scales the sole focus of your life over the next 6 weeks. Let's start focusing on things that we may not put as much attention to on other times of the year. So let's look at your sleep, because sleep usually does get wrecked over summer. You know, the kids are there, so they're probably having a few later nights because they don't have school the next day. You've also got the heat to contend with, so your sleep probably isn't as good as it usually is. So let's focus on how can we make that better? How can we get in a good routine with that so that when September does roll around, that's also improved and that falls naturally into better recovery, better results at the same time. We can also look at your nutrition. So let's look at your protein. Because you're going to be out of routine, this is a good time to actually work out how you can get more protein into your meals on a really, really busy schedule. So that when routine does come back into your life again, then things are going to feel so much easier. So we're actually using these busy weeks to nail down the structure and routine that when things do go back to normal slightly, you're on top of your game and you can just accelerate the results that you have been getting. The third thing I want you to be looking at, on top of obviously your training and then not making fat loss your only thing, is also managing the busy period itself. Have a plan for these chaotic weeks. On Instagram the other day, I did a reel about sort of managing these really, really hectic weeks with lower bound stuff. Because, like I touched on at the start, you're not going to have 6 perfect weeks here. Let's be real, that's not going to happen. Me and you both know that that's not on the scoreline. We're not going to be able to get through these next 6 weeks. Training as usual, nutrition as usual. So at the start of the week, plan out what is your lower bound. Like with how hectic this week is, what is realistic for you to actually do, but also still feel like you're moving forwards? Is that 2 sessions? Is that at least 8,000 steps a day? And is that prioritizing protein in every single meal? If that's what your week looks like, and if that's because you're going away in the caravan for a couple of days or whatever, and you know that that's going to be a little bit off plan, then use that week as a lower bound week. Use it as what is the minimum I can do this week to keep myself moving forwards. It doesn't mean that you have to miss the barbecues. It doesn't mean that you have to miss the social events or you have to take Tupperware at the wedding. It's just what can you do that week to keep yourself moving forwards? Because what we don't want to do is be in that position, like I said at the start, of getting round to September, which a lot of people do, and treating it as another January. Because I get it all the time. I always have an influx in September because it is like another January for people. They feel like they've let themselves go over the summer, which we don't want you to do, and they feel like they need to start again in September. I'd rather we started now, made some progress, and got you really, really good results going into September when things quieten down, and then it becomes so much easier for you as well. And this is the bit a lot of people miss to cap this off. This isn't just about this summer. It's about next summer too. Because if you instill these really, really good habits this summer and you learn how to manage the busy periods while still enjoying yourself, still enjoying socials and staying in that shape, then by the time next summer comes round, you're going to be in even better shape, probably the shape of your life if you can keep going for the next 12 months. And then also know what to do when next summer rolls around. You know how to maintain those good habits, you know how to enjoy the socials, and you know how to stay in the shape of your life. So it's not just about now, it's about the future summers as well. And how you can enjoy next summer when you whip your top off by the pool and you've got abs to show for it. How sick would that be? And if you write it off completely, I can almost guarantee that you'll be in the exact same position in 12 months' time. And you'll be wondering, what on earth are you going to do now summer's rolled round again? Now, if you like this video and it's helped you out a little bit, you can click 2 links down below. Like I said, the top one is a walkthrough of how I would map this out for every single one of my clients and how my coaching actually works from the inside to out. And then you've also got my Instagram underneath, which has daily tips for you to get in the shape of your life and maintain that shape forever. And then you also have the one-to-one coaching inquiries if you want to know a little bit more detail about how my coaching works. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped, and I hope to see you in the next one. I'll catch you in a little bit.